A&M finally looks like they have a pretty good young quarterback, and they've been through a lot of issues at quarterback. And Connor Weigman, who had a nice start for them, he is apparently they thought out for a few weeks. And now the update, and I saw this from Brett Zerneman, he's out for the rest of the year. That's the update. A&M sophomore quarterback Connor Weigman, lower leg injury, more extensive than previously thought. Max Johnson will remain their starting quarterback, and again, that is a huge blow to Texas A&M. Johnson can play. He can handle it. But you have this young, talented guy that's kind of a semi-dual threat, and now he's gone.
Yeah, that's a real big bummer for A&M. Although Max Johnson came in and played well, he has a ton of starting experience. So you could be in a lot worse spots having Max Johnson in. Can Max Johnson be the guy who can keep them in this race, though, long term in the SEC West, which is as open as it's been right now, because there's not a team that is head and shoulders above everybody else right now. Everybody has shown that they have weaknesses that you can kind of exploit. So can A&M, who has Arkansas this week, and those games are always ridiculous, and then they have Alabama at home next week, can they keep it rolling with Max Johnson over these couple of weeks and build some momentum so that they can stay in the race? Or do they fall behind? Now, that gives Jimbo Fisher a little bit of an excuse, but look.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, maybe
no,
not.
It doesn't. It doesn't to me at all. I mean, he's supposed to be the quarterback whisperer, right? So
yeah, I mean, I think you lose your starting quarterback, there's at least a pause, and you go like, how does this affect the overall theme? But yeah, I think at this point, I don't know that A&M fans. It's kind of like with Dave Aranda. It's like if they continue to struggle, it's like, oh well, Blake Shapen got hurt, but how many times are you going to say, oh well, there was an injury, so we can't count that, right? At some point, you just got to say like it is what it is, quarterback injury or not. So I don't know where most A&M fans side on that. I can see both sides of it, though, of like, hey, it's not what it was supposed to be because this guy got hurt, so we shouldn't treat it as though they played with Max Johnson the entire time. And I also see fans saying he's the quarterback whisperer. It shouldn't matter who the quarterback is. They should still be able to win games. I think it all just to come down to how many games do they win. Do they win 6 or 7, and that's clearly not good enough, or do they win still 8 or 9 games with Max Johnson? You're like, okay, they're clearly still on the right track here. I think that's all going to depend on how they win, and how many they win.
Well, and the other thing is, look, if you're Jimbo Fisher and you've had to already bring in Bobby Petrino, which admits that you can't call the offense the way that everybody wants you to before, and then you step into the season, the SEC West, and it's actually as clear a path as you could think because Alabama's struggling, for you to win the SEC West and get in the title game, like you've got to take advantage of this if you can.
Yeah, I mean that window's going to close pretty quick.
Yeah.
They're not going to have quarterback issues at Alabama next year, for example.
Yeah.
Auburn's going to have more under their feet. LSU will be better. So on and so forth. So I mean you wish that you could strike while the iron's hot here, and they still have the opportunity to do so. But obviously, losing Weigman is a blow. I mean, good young player for sure, and a guy that I know there's a lot of promise in. And so, I guess what happened was they initially thought it was, or I guess Jimbo originally said it was like a week-to-week type of thing or day-to-day type of thing, and then I guess they did extra. I thought it was Billy Liucci was explaining. They did like extra imaging, had another appointment, and saw a little fracture, and then looked into that and found out like, this is actually the worst case scenario. He's going to have to miss the rest of the year. So that's that just sucks. You hate to see anybody getting season-ending injuries, and especially your starting quarterback. So in a wild year for the SEC, just when you think that you're A&M and you have maybe a leg up in some way, you get this news today, and that's just something they'll have to overcome in this wild SEC West race.
All right, there's a lot more to get to, including